What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another MMA YouTube video. Today we're gonna do picks for UFC 315. These are out. I mean, I would say late because that's just the way it is right now. I don't think it's late. It's fucking Tuesday. The fights are on Saturday, but all the big MMA YouTubers have already uploaded their picks, so whatever. There probably won't be many people watching this video, but if you are, appreciate you. And yeah, you have anything? Or...
Yeah, just some notes about the card in Montreal. It's not very good for a numbered pay-per-view. A lot of like really disappointing fights that have fallen out on this card, particularly Joel Alvarez versus BSD. I was looking forward to that. That would have been good. But also like I got to shout out how bad the the seat purchases are, or whatever that's called, the gate is, at this arena in Montreal. No one is going to this thing. The UFC has continuously raised ticket prices, pricing out fans, even though Dana said he wouldn't do that. And it's hitting really hard right now in Montreal. I don't know about the tariffs, or if Quebecois are just broke, but for whatever reason, the ticket sales are just really bad. Um, it's kind of disappointing compared to like these historic cards we've had in Montreal with like GSP and Jake Shields. Was that in Montreal? Um,
Yeah, that might have been
yeah,
in Toronto. I forget, but yeah,
yeah, but like Montreal previously, like
I think that was in Toronto.
yeah,
I don't know.
at the time, like set records for UFC gates and sellout speed. Um, and now we have like the day before the event, like half the arena left empty. So I hope this really really shows Dana to to stop hiking up these ticket prices because it's getting ridiculous. Like it was so much for even like UFC Seattle, just a random fight night, and I'm pretty tired of it. I'm sure the fans are pretty tired of it. Those who just like want to enjoy their sport go to events like that, and also like eh, I think you have more to say on this, but like dude, the UFC has been abusing the fuck out of Canada. Like if you want to get into that.
I mean, yeah, then let's get to the picks. But yes, the UFC has been absolutely bullying Canada with the cards they've given them. 289 in Vancouver, which I went to, awful card on paper and in results. 297, awful card on paper and in results. Edmonton, pretty shit card on paper, pretty shit card in results. And this card, without BSD Alvarez, it is pretty shit on paper, and it will probably end up being pretty shit in results. It's just kind of how it goes with Canada. They don't like them. They don't care about them. They know they're just going to go to events no matter what. But hey, maybe that's changing, and I love to see it because I was looking in some of these stuff. It was like 1,000 Canadian dollars for seats that it like, dude,
Yeah,
nobody is
like
paying that.
farthest back
This
in the
event
nosebleeds.
sucks.
Yeah, farthest back in the nosebleeds, like $300. No one's buying that, man. Uh, and the problem is Dana's like super hard headed, so he's probably just gonna blame it on Montreal, even though this is an issue like across the world with UFC events, except in like the Emirates where people just have way too much money. But
Well, and people don't attend those events. There's like
that's
there's like
true.
2,000 people at every single one of those. But all right, we're gonna start off with the opener: Beksat Almakan versus Brad Katona. And you know what? I want to say with that whole spiel we just went on, there are some good fights on this card. There's some decent fighters, some good fights that I think will end up being entertaining. It's just like it's not a very high quality card. It is pretty low quality for a pay per view. But yeah, Almakan versus Katona. I'm gonna go with Almakan. Katona is just really mid at everything. That's kind of his style. Now he had a close fight with Gian Matsumoto, but it seems like Gian Matsumoto in that short time since that fight has taken like leaps and bounds. Like, and he showed that in the Rob Font fight. So I think Katona's okay. I think he's not the worst underdog if you want to bet a little something on him because I think Alma Khan is extremely overrated. But I'm still going with Alma Khan. He's twitched up. He's explosive. He's a good striker. He has good takedown defense, contrary to the Umar fight. But I would like to say this dude is so fucking overrated because he dropped Umar. If there was ever like a fluke drop, like where it's just a total fluke, like Uriah Hall, Gegard Mousasi one comes to mind. Awesome KO, but come on. And that comes to mind. He just wung an overhand and it like clipped the temple of Umar and dropped him. It's bullshit. So I'm picking him, but Katona's a good underdog. This is not that, you know, different of skill level in this fight. I don't know.
Yeah, just surprising matchup for Brad Katona in Canada. Like you feel like you'd give the hometown guy a little bit easier of a fight. Omakon's nothing crazy, but like you could give Brad Katona, UFC vet, a bit of an easier time here. So I think I'm going to be picking Omicron too. Like you said, Brad Katona is a decent underdog, but like just who I think is going to win, I'm not really going to bet on Brad Katona to win in the UFC because historically he doesn't do that. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you go look at his UFC wins, it's like Jesse Butler, horrendous win. Um, Cody Gibson, who looks good in moments, but still not a great fighter. And that was a close fight where they kind of just brawled and Katona came out on top. So yeah, he doesn't have the greatest wins, but I don't know. He has some solid losses. Really, that Gian Matsumoto one, the Garrett Armfield one, though. It's just, oh my god. Let's get on to the next fight. All right, we got Daniel Santos versus Jiang Yang Li. So I'm going to explain what's going on at the bottom of the screen there. Those are the rankings and ratings from our spreadsheet. It's linked in the description of every single video, including this one and our channel description. Basically, what it has is rankings for every fighter. So if they're not in the top 15, which of course we have included as well, we give them subjective rankings. So like, see how Daniel Santos is the number 31 bantamweight, Jiang Yang Li is the number 50 featherweight. That should say FTW. He's the number 50 featherweight. He's moving down. And then there's also the overalls, like Madden or FIFA, like a video game, their overall out of 100, and that is also on the spreadsheet along with their attribute overalls. Just go check it out, use it as a guide to our videos, and yeah. But for the actual fight, I'm gonna go with Jiang Yang Li. I think he's pretty good. He got smoked by Haider Emil, but that's not the worst look anymore. You know what I mean? Especially when Haider Emil did have a bit of a physical advantage over him. And he could kind of just barge through whatever Jiang Li tried to throw and smoke him. So I'm going with Lee. I think he's not really an underdog. Maybe the odds will widen. I don't know. But I guess he's less favored. And I'm going to go with Jiang Li. I think he's good. I think he will get Daniel Santos to the ground. Daniel Santos is also incredibly inactive and pretty meh. So yeah, I think Jiang Li is going to use the grappling to get a dub.
yeah. I'm going Daniel Santos. I don't have too much to say, but I think I'm just gonna take the slightly higher rated guy here to win. Jung Young Lee. Sometimes weight class changes work out beautifully, and sometimes they don't. And we'll see what happens. That's really all I have to say. But as of now, I'm picking Santos.
All right. Marc-Andre Barrio versus Bruno Silva. This might be the most washed fight I've ever seen. These guys are both so unbelievably washed. It's not even funny. Specifically Bruno Silva. He might be the most shockingly washed UFC fighter ever because it happened so quickly. That being said, I'm going with Marc-Andre Barrio. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Bruno Silva, he just doesn't have anything. He's a 67 overall. He's one of our lowest rated fighters because we don't have every fighter on there. We have every fighter that has any type of significance, which is still a lot. I think we have about 60 middleweights on there. But yeah, Bruno Silva is one of our lowest rated fighters at 67 overall. He is so washed. He doesn't have a skill set anymore. He just doesn't really do anything. I mean, if you watch his last few fights, that's something you'll notice. He doesn't really do anything. He just kind of shells up, gets hit, and throws nonsense back. So I'm going with Barrio by KO. And Barrio never does this, but maybe a first round KO, but I'll say second round KO.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Bruno Silva eye pokes everything. Lost to Chris Weidman in 2024. That's insane. I'm
And by the
also
way, before the eye pokes, he was getting fucking destroyed. Yeah.
yeah, I'm picking Burial as well. Uh, he's had a rough couple years, but I still think there's something there. Uh, you know, he had a close fight with Chris Curtis, which is pretty impressive. Since then, he's had a rough time, but like it's not like he's had nothing. Bruno Silva's had nothing in his last few. Burial's like he's shown that he's still like at least an MMA fighter and not a punching bag. So,
That's kind of what I'm
yeah,
saying. Is like
exactly.
Burial, he has a game that he implements. It's like the pressure inside boxing, get you up against the cage, bop, 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 stay in the pocket, hooks and uppercuts. Like he has a game and a style that he implements. Bruno Silva, at this point in his career, watching the Weidman and Nardiev fights, has nothing. Straight, he just has nothing.
Yeah, it's
So
kind of crazy that this dude isn't cut. I just don't understand it. But yeah, I'll go like third round TKO, just a flurry with Bruno Silva quitting. Because I mean he can take some damage. He's what do you say? It's Bruno Silva,
Yeah. All right, we got Navajo Sterling versus Ivan Urslan. I don't know. There's not much to say here. Ivan Urslan is a bit of a lamb to the slaughter. He's not the worst. Like he's okay, but I'm picking Navajo Sterling as the guy on the come up. He's bigger. He's better. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Or as you see, Urslan isn't even rated on our light heavyweight rankings, which means something because we have about 30 light heavyweights that we could fucking conjure up to put on the spreadsheet because that division is so slim. Um, so yeah, Navajo Sterling probably by KO.
I'm also picking Navo Sterling. He had a rough UFC debut, but I think he's kind of back to form. I still think he's pretty overrated, and I think a lot of people kind of lost stock with him after that first fight. But I think like this level of opponent, he can still like soundly beat, probably by KO as well. Um, Also this dude has like the craziest fluoride stare I've ever seen. Like I look
He
at him,
looks
I make eye contact just straight into my soul. It's kind of scary,
he
but
looks kind of like a bird. I don't know.
little bit something. He looks like something. We'll say that. But I'm picking him.
Yeah.
First round KO because he has good power. Whatever.
All right. Good fight here, actually, for light heavyweight. We got Modestas Bukauskas versus Ion Cutelaba. Now, I will say Ion seems like he might have hit a stride in his career where it's like, whoa, he just took a guy down and submitted him. He's never done that before. He might
Yeah,
be using his
instead of
brain.
just brawling, what? That's
Yeah,
not
he
my
like
Kutalaba. Like,
I'm like he's used his ground game, but it's I've never seen him use it like that. I've never seen him use it to where it's like, okay, something's not going. I don't feel it on the feet. Let me just take a guy down and sub him. It's like, whoa. It's almost as if light heavyweights can't grapple, although I do think Modestas can grapple a little better
yeah,
than a guy like Ibo Aslan. I'm gonna pick Modestas, probably by decision. Like I don't think he's gonna KO Kutalaba. He could
he
actually.
could.
I
Yeah,
don't think he has the craziest power. I just think he'll outstrike him, hurt him a good bit. Um, Either late rounds TKO or get him a good, nice, clean decision. Maybe
yeah.
gets hurt once. I don't know.
Well, I mean, like you started off your pick. I think Kutalaba's uh, looked in a different form, especially in that last fight. So I'm picking him. I mean, there's really a reason why this fight is evens, with the odds, because like who is winning this? I don't really know. Uh, they have the exact same rating if you see down there, very similar like rankings, and they have and it's pick'em odds. So and it really feels like one of those fights. But I'm going with Kutalaba. I think he's looked pretty good recently. But again, so is Bukowskis. It's just a tough fight to pick.
Yeah. All right, we got Jessica Andrade versus Jasmine Jazdavicius. Um, I'm picking Jazdavicius. I think she has really solid wrestling. I don't think she'll get KO'd by Andrade. I think she has a good enough chin and good enough like awareness in the pocket. So yeah, I think she'll kind of just walk Andrade down, do what she wants on the feet, and then when it gets maybe a little heavy, she'll uh she'll take her down and do whatever she
Or she
wants.
could
Get herself
KO.
in.
She could KO Andrade. Her chin is so bad at this point.
Or that,
Yeah.
or that. But I'm to pick her by some type of finish on the ground in round 2 or 3, or a dominant decision.
Yeah. I think I'm betting on a fluke here. It's women's MMA, so I feel a bit more
Yeah.
comfortable doing that. I'm going to bet like probably some bullshit like a first round left hook or something from Andrade that drops her and she just finishes her with ground and pound. I could see something stupid like that happening, but it is Andrade, so it's a bit weird to pick that because she's just gotten mauled by everybody in her last like what 5 fights. But that's what I'm gonna go with. Um,
Andrade has twice the amount of wins of Jasmine Jasdavicius
yep.
and the same amount of losses as Jasmine has wins. That's a little crazy of a stat,
Uh-huh.
but yeah. All right. Next fight, we got Mike Malott versus Charles Radke. Charles Chuck Buffalo, say it again, Radke. I don't know, man. I think these odds are a little absurd. I mean, I'm picking Charles Radke. I think he's one of the most underrated fighters in the UFC right now. Everyone kind of just knows him for the say it again Radke thing, but he's actually like really
He's
good.
yeah
He's
he's
way
put
better than his.
he's put together a lot of really good wins. He is going out
Yes.
there and smoking these lower level welterweights. So against like a decent guy like Mike Malott, decent, not good, decent. I think he's still gonna smoke.
And let me let me just say this. Let me just say this, dude. Mike Malott's last two fights have been
Just
like
embarrassing. Yeah.
shockingly bad. Yes, he looked good in the first two rounds against Magny. Dude, he just quit. There he quit. Like, yeah, he looked good in the fight. Dude, he quit. He quit in the third round and got finished by Neil Magny.
And he didn't look good
Who
in
does
any.
that?
Yeah,
You get finished by Neil Magny.
he didn't
Like,
look good in any round against Trevin Giles. That fight
and
was
then yeah, the
straight
Southern
up
Giles
awful to watch. Like,
embarrassment of a fight. Dude, Radke, yeah, sure, he got smoked by Prates. Yeah, he had an embarrassing short notice across the world debut against Blood Diamond with a full weight cut. Oh no. Like, yeah, so that was tough for him. Dude, Urbina, Semmelsberger. There's one other, right?
I think so. Let me look at that real quick.
But those like, dude, he's killing these guys. And a guy like Uros Medic goes to the third round with Semmelsberger and gets dropped before he finishes him. A guy like well, that's not the same Semmelsberger. Um, on this like wash. A guy like Preston Parsons, like that level of welterweight, who I think Mike Malott would handle, goes to decision with Semmelsberger. So I think Radke is just significantly above that level. I think he's really good. One of the most underrated fighters in the UFC right now, and I think he's going to win. I think he's going to KO Mike Malott. I think Malott's good. I think he's pretty decent at everything, but he's a limited guy. He's slow. His career activity has been shockingly low. He doesn't have very deep of a bag. I think Radke might have some trouble with the takedowns and the leg kicks, but I think he'll trudge through, get himself, like I said, a KO. I'm actually going to say decision probably, but 29-28, get it done.
Yeah, I am a Charles Radke fan. I'm also picking him, and not just because of the like to be edgy with the say it again Radke or whatever, but because like he's genuinely super entertaining. He walks people down and slumps them. He did that to Urbina. He did that to Semmelsberger. Both those finishes were sick. He got KO'd by Carlos Prates. Whatever, man. Like Gary pretty much got KO'd by Carlos Prates. But
No.
I'm just not
He
gonna
got
hold that against him. But
he got Bo nickeled by Carlos
yeah,
Prates, but yeah,
in a less embarrassing way, I'd say. But
that's
he's
true. That was crazy. It was just like one knee.
yeah, it's
Prates was like that.
disappointing. But yeah, I really
We're not
like
gonna we're not
Radke.
gonna bring
Yeah,
up yeah
I really
old
like
scars.
Radke. He's his personality is also kind of a fun heel. He's kind of evil, and he's fun to watch. So I'm picking him by
Yes,
KO as well.
and he's teammate of Bilal. Remember the name Muhammad,
It's
UFC
true.
welterweight champion. Um, I don't even want to talk about this. This is the dumbest fucking fight ever. I heard that Benoit said no to a Gamrot replacement, but I also don't think Gamrot could have feasibly gone to Canada and fought at lightweight on this card on a week's
Yeah,
notice.
no
So I
way.
think that's bullshit. I think they just had to find some random Canadian dude. This guy was supposed to fight on Friday, the Friday before the fight. I don't want to talk about it. Kyle Prepolek, he's garbage. He went 0-2 in the UFC against fucking oh, who was it? It was Austin Hubbard and someone else. It was Austin Hubbard and someone else. It was like a name that I remember.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. Point is, he's fucking terrible.
Nordine
He's
Taleb,
old as hell.
Austin
Nordine
Hubbard.
Taleb.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nordine Taleb, who's okay, actually. But he's dog shit. His wins outside the UFC, outside of Cody Fister, are not impressive. And that wasn't even recent. His
Yeah.
like 2 wins since he left the UFC, or 4 wins since he left the UFC, are not impressive. He's pulled out of a bunch of fights. He's clearly injury prone. He is 35 going on 36. This is the easiest fight we've ever had to predict. Benoit Saint-Denis is going to roll him. I don't want to hear anyone. Yes, he's had some embarrassing performances against Moicano and Poirier. Like, okay, Poirier was staff, by the way. Yeah, BSD is going to roll him. As you see, we still have him at 85 overall. I think people massively overreacted to BSD. Maybe like they massively overreacted to his come up, but not really. I don't know. I just think all the fucking BSD hate and shit was so overblown. All like the people writing him off was so overblown. I think he's still a great lightweight. I think he's still a top 10 level lightweight. I think he'll absolutely slaughter this dude.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I love BSD. It's been hard watching him lose these past two. And I'm sure it's hard for him as well. Hopefully he's coming in here with a chip on his shoulder and he's going to look better than he ever has. Of course, it's going to be kind of hard to look better than he ever has against an actual can, but we'll see what happens. Of course, I'm picking BSD as well, kind of by anything he wants because BSD has he is a submission KO. He can do anything. So let's see it from him. This guy, I forget his name because
Kyle Prepelec or Prepelec probably.
yeah, Kyle Prepelech has never been KO TKO'd, so maybe that could happen. But I don't know, man. It's just
Yeah,
it's a lame short notice replacement.
it is.
Thanks,
It's just
Joel
really disappointing.
Alvarez. Thank you.
True. Well, couldn't make the weight cut. What a shocker! You're
No,
6'3", dumb fuck. You should have already been at welterweight.
he said he broke his hand, and that's why. So,
No, he's moving up to welter.
well, yes,
It's,
but he broke his hand in the camp. But you know who else broke their hand, and it's really sad? Shamil Gaziev.
I know, I saw
It's
that. I
messed
think
up.
it was his finger. His finger actually.
Yeah, well, your finger is part of your hand, so
He was playing volleyball.
in Bahrain, yeah.
Yeah. He is the, as you guys know, he is the volleyball. But yeah, Joel Alvarez broke his hand, couldn't make the weight. Anyways, Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. This is a really good, really high level women's MMA fight. Actually, as you see, we don't do rankings and ratings for women's MMA and heavyweight, but this is one of the ones where I would say like, damn, we should probably rate these girls because they're really good. Grasso's a good underdog here. I think she could definitely try to implement the grappling, but I'm still going with Natalia Silva. She is simply filthy. She is so good at striking, especially for women's MMA. I don't see a girl dealing with her on the feet, so I'm going with Natalia Silva by probably pretty dominant decision.
Uh, yeah, I don't have much to say. I'm not too familiar with Natalia Silva. I guess I just haven't been able to catch one of her fights. But I'm just gonna go kind of what I know. It's the problem is I don't watch enough women's MMA. Oh boy. So I'm probably just gonna pick Grasso. Hoping that she implements that grappling, but like this is not an educated pick at all. So we'll just see how it pans out.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right. I don't know how you don't know Natalia Silva.
Yeah. Well, I
That's crazy.
don't fucking know, man.
She's very good. All right. Jose Aldo versus Ayman Zahabi. Shit matchmaking.
Yeah.
I want to start with that.
Horrible.
Terrible matchmaking. No, absolutely no clue what the UFC is doing. If you're trying to get Ayman a showcase in Canada, this is not it. Aldo is a guy that you don't really showcase against. If anything, it's the opposite. You make people hate you. Look at Batista and Marab. Like, you make people hate you because you have to. The only way to beat Aldo is to be boring as fuck or to be like really insanely good like Peter Yan, which I don't think most people are. So,
Amon Zahabi is Peter Yan. I'm calling it now.
he might be, but yeah, just absolutely horrendous matchmaking from the UFC. No clue what they're thinking from both guys. It just doesn't make sense for Aldo. It doesn't make sense for Zahabi. I hate it. But all that being said, I am going to pick Jose Aldo. As you can see with the overall discrepancy, of course, there's a little bit of, we already know who Jose Aldo is. We haven't seen Zahabi against the upper echelon, so his overall rating could be a lot higher, but I'm still going to go with Aldo. I think he'll just kind of cruise. Maybe lose the first round. I can definitely see that happening, but I think he will basically cruise to a decision, really, really working with body shots, working up top. Maybe he'll start using kicks again because it's not like he's going to get taken down. So, yeah.
Um, I'm gonna pick Zahabi in this one, and I have a couple reasons. Uh, they might not be the strongest. You can totally refute these, but I am picking him. One, because he is Amon Zahabi, brother of Faraz Zahabi, and Faraz will be in his corner. Will be through his whole camp. Faraz and Amon are just incredible at making up game plans. And with a guy who has as much tape as Jose Aldo, I'm sure they can find something. Uh, Amon Zahabi, super high fight IQ. I really like him as a fighter. So I think he'll be able to come up with a good game plan. I think since Aldo doesn't really throw kicks at all anymore, he's going to be able to focus entirely on that, on like boxing defense, stuff like that. And Amon Zahabi does have really good boxing defense, especially his high guard. I know Aldo's filthy with the body shots, but like that high guard from Zahabi, he barely gets hit at all. And yes, Aldo is a higher level of striking than Pedro Munoz, but I'm just gonna trust in like Zahabi as a technical, like defensively responsible fighter, and I think he's gonna win like a 29-28 decision.
I do have to stress, Aldo is like worlds and universes
Of
better
course,
than
yeah.
Pedro Munoz on the feet. Um,
Pedro Munoz
but Pedro
like
Munoz
didn't
at least
really
has a
land
cash.
at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I think anyone at this point can not get hit by Pedro. But
I'm sure, but it
yeah,
was it was a good showing. We'll see how it looks. Like that's the problem.
yeah.
Zabi hasn't really fought like a guy anywhere close to this level, so we'll see how he looks.
That's
Terrible
that's amazing.
matchmaking again.
It's so fucking bad. It
Yeah,
is so unbelievably bad.
dude, this Aldo
Um,
return every single matchup has been dog shit. What are we doing?
yeah, I have absolutely no
Are you
clue. The
serious?
Bautista one didn't
Jonathan
make sense.
Martinez, uh, Mario Batista, and now Amon Zahabi. Give Aldo a name. What are we doing?
So, dude, Cejudo's right there, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sick of talking about it. I anticipate the day that Dana White is no longer part of the UFC. It seems like it's coming soon. Um, we're rooting for you, Dana. Go out and get that boxing and power slap done. We're rooting for you.
Yep.
Just pass
Please,
the reins to Hunter Campbell
please,
because what the hell?
waste
And I
the
know
rest
this
of
is
your career with power slap.
this is probably the work of Hunter Campbell, but dude, I don't. The UFC has to fix some shit. Let's just get on to the next fight. Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. Some other women's MMA fighters we should probably have rated, but once again, we don't do the shittier divisions, including heavyweight. So it's not just women, it's heavyweights too, because they're not real divisions. Um, yeah, I don't know. This is a really hard fight to predict. It's pretty much can Valentina implement the grappling? I think no matter what, Fiorot's going to outstrike her. I'm going to go with Fiorot to do that, outstrike her, win by decision. Probably drop Valentina a couple times. Fiorot is fucking big, dude. Like she is a big girl. So I think she will drop Valentina at one point in the fight, and other than that, just kind of smooth sailing on the feet. 48-47 gets taken down in 2 rounds. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I'm gonna be boring. Pick pretty much the same exact thing. Uh, Shevchenko, like since Tyler Santos hasn't looked very good. I know Grasso's like a good opponent. I know Santos is solid, but like she just doesn't look like how she used to. And I think we're gonna see her in an even worse state. Because like with Grasso, she was getting her get back. She was probably like pretty locked into these. I don't know how much she'll be there for Manon Fior. So, we'll see. But I'm picking Fior for now. I just think Shevchenko, she's very old. She's had a lot of mileage both in Muay Thai or is it Muay Thai or kickboxing? I don't know. Whatever striking
Both.
sport she did before. Okay,
Muay Thai. Yeah.
yeah. Muay Thai and now like a 28 fight MMA fighter, probably some amateur bouts in there. Like she has a ton of mileage, especially for a female fighter getting older. I think she's accomplished everything she kind of possibly could. I mean, first UFC fighter to get all 8 rubies on their belt, like ridiculous stuff like that. Um, so I don't know. I think it's time for another contender to finally take this belt at flyweight for good.
For sure. I will say Valentina's looked better than ever in the grappling. It's the
Yeah,
striking where she has declined like crazy.
very similar to Wei
Declined like
Li.
crazy.
Like,
Yes, very similar. Very similar. Wei Li, dude, it's so funny to me that people call Wei Li an entertaining fighter, but whatever.
yeah.
That's a
Well,
conversation.
also like
Just, oh, she's so cute
it
and funny. Dude, she's a boring ass fighter, but
also the she is like the chinniest fighter in like UFC history. It's insane. Every clean
okay.
shot drops her.
Random hate fish.
Yeah.
Let's get on to the main event between Bilal Muhammad and Jack Della Maddalena. I'm gonna start by saying this. Logically, Jack should win. All logic points to Jack Della Maddalena wins this fight. The odds don't make sense. Like I said, but they might. I'll get to it. Logically, fight wise, if I'm looking at the fight film, Jack wins. He won't get controlled by Bilal on the ground. Bilal is not the best control artist on the ground. Sure, he did well against Wonder Boy. Sure, he did well against Leon. Like, look at the second Luque fight. I know this is a little further back, but look at the Jeff Neal fight. Look at the first Leon fight. Look at the Burns fight. And I know that's Gilbert Burns. I'm just saying, he's not the type to control someone on the ground, and Jack Della Maddalena is not the type to get controlled on the ground. He would literally not allow Gilbert Burns to control him on the ground. He was
with
nonstop scrambling.
with a broken arm, like cleanly
Yes,
broken, like badly with a broken arm.
it. Maybe that has something to do with the odds. Maybe it's because JDM's injury history can like catch up to him, and the inactivity recently, of course. Sure, I'm just saying logically, JDM should win. We have him at a higher overall. Everything points to JDM winning this fight. But I'm gonna go with Bilal, dude. It's just a feeling. It's a gut feeling I have. Usually, the more boring fighter wins. That seems like that's the way it's been going
Yep.
recently. Marab beat O'Malley. Ankalaev beat Pereira. That's just the way it goes. The way it goes is the boring fighter wins. It sucks. I hate the direction our sport is going in, but that's how it works. I hate it. I despise it. It's the worst thing ever. That's just how it goes. I don't know why. I can see Bilal winning this and Islam Taporia being announced like soon after for International Fight Week. I pray that JDM wins. Bilal's a cool dude. He is such a fucking boring fighter,
He's a
and
sport
JDM
killer.
is a
Like
sick.
Bilal is genuinely a sport killer,
Yeah,
whether
Bilal,
he means to
Marab.
or not.
Yeah, Bilal, Marab, Ankalaev, all these guys who are really boring champions. That is how you kill a sport because the pay-per-view headliners are not going to be good fights. So I really hope that JDM wins, even though Bilal's a cool guy. I hope JDM wins. Um, bring some entertainment back to the title picture in the welterweight division. But
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
and
I'm picking
the thing
Bilal.
is, like, Islam Taporia is at least a little bit of a reward for the worst possible outcome for this fight. So, you know, that I guess it's not a total loss if JDM loses, but to my pick, I think I'm picking JDM. He just he this guy he works. Like through the Burns fight with a broken arm, he was always working. He was able to get up constantly. He found the shot. That was a sick fight, by the way. And JDM just had a ridiculous performance with a really bad injury, and coming into this fight healthy, I think he's gonna look really, really good. He's going to look like a champion. Bilal can't hurt people whatsoever. If Bilal tries to use his Canelo boxing against JDM, which he probably won't, to be fair, he's getting slumped. Um, kind of no way around that. JDM has the best boxing in the division. Bilal can't really control. I hope JDM implements something more than a Granby role for his like kind of takedown defense or his like ground control defense because that's kind of all he used against Burns. Um,
No, dude, he was using some sick sweeps like
yeah,
butterfly hook. He was using a
yeah.
variety of
That's
jiu-jitsu.
that's what I remember the most though. He used that a few times. But yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna pick JDM though. I hopefully he knocks him out. It would be pretty cool. Is we can't have this many sport killing champions at once. It's just horrible for the sport.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason a lot of people say the UFC is dying, and it's guys like Bilal having the belt. And Leon too. Like I'm not saying it was like, oh God, we went from Leon to Bilal. Like, no, Leon too. Marab, Ankalaev, those guys, along with the guys who just never fight, like John Jones, current John Jones. Those are the guys who are killing the sport, man. And it's right in front of our eyes. And you know, we gotta do something about it. But I hope JDM can. So all right. Switch that,
Well,
John.
yeah.
All right, well that's gonna do it for our picks, guys. I hope you enjoyed. It was a bit of a, you know, bit of a long video, probably. I don't really know, but yeah, that was our picks. I hope we get them right. I really hope JDM wins. Um, the UFC has really been fucking up a lot recently, and this card is kind of everything proving that.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like kind of a culmination of like what this era represents, like inactivity, shit fights, shit matchmaking, you know,
Boring
terrible,
champion.
yeah, boring champions, horrible arena gates, pricing out fans. Like every little factor we've had that's made the sport worse recently. What are you doing?
Milo just got home.
Yeah. Every little factor that's kind of made this sport worse recently is kind of coming together with UFC Montreal, so I guess they just got unlucky.
Yeah.
Well,
All right. We'll see you later.
see you later. Have a
Radio
good
and
rest of your
Philly.
day.